How to fix Uncharted 4 crashing on startup. Welcome back to Teknobalta. Today, our team is tackling a severe crashing issue in Uncharted 4 that affects modern high-end hardware platforms running through Steam. We noticed that the game can run perfectly for up to 10 hours before it suddenly starts crashing during the initial boot sequence. This specific crash happens directly after the Iron Galaxy Studio logo, where the screen remains black for a few seconds before returning to the desktop without any error messages. We discovered a highly unconventional but absolutely proven fix for this exact desktop crashing behavior. If your game stays on a black screen and shuts down without warning, you must completely disable your internet connection before launching. Disconnecting your PC from the network immediately bypasses this specific boot loop and allows the main menu to render successfully. Before relying entirely on offline mode, we tested launching the game through its secondary executable file. Navigate to your root installation folder and run the file named U4L.exe directly from the directory. This completely bypasses the default launcher parameters and can sometimes initialize the engine correctly. Our team also analyzed engine behavior and found that extreme frame spikes during the initial loading screens can trigger memory faults. We applied an artificial 30 FPS cap using external control panels to stabilize the startup sequence. You can force this through your graphics driver control panel by setting the maximum frame rate specifically for the Uncharted executable. Corrupted shader caches or missing texture packs are common culprits for silent desktop crashes. We thoroughly tested the Steam client file verification protocol to ensure every bit of downloaded data was structurally sound. Right-click the title in your library, navigate to the Installed Files tab, and execute a full integrity check. Display driver conflicts heavily impact DirectX 12 rendering pipelines and stability. We utilized Display Driver Uninstaller in safe mode to completely wipe the existing graphics drivers from the system. After the system rebooted, we installed the latest game-ready drivers to guarantee a pristine software environment. We observed this crashing anomaly on high-end systems running CL36 DDR5 memory, clocked at 6,000 MHz. Even if the game worked perfectly before with identical drivers, minor memory timing instabilities can eventually corrupt the game state. Try temporarily disabling your EXPO or XMP profiles in your motherboard BIOS to test baseline stability. Deep packet inspection bypass tools can conflict with background telemetry. We investigated removing networking software like GoodbyeDPI to restore standard connection protocols. Ensure no background VPNs or DNS encryption tools are running when launching this specific title. Windows manages full-screen applications using optimized rendering layers that sometimes fail during handoff. We tested modifying the game Executable's compatibility properties to fix the rendering freeze. Right-click the game Executable, select Properties, and check the box to disable full-screen optimizations. The Steam overlay injects direct rendering hooks into the game engine, which can conflict with the initial loading phase. We strongly recommend disabling both the in-game overlay and Steam Cloud synchronization temporarily. This prevents external API calls from interrupting the critical startup sequence. Heavy texture streaming engines require massive paging files to offload RAM pressure during loading. We manually set the Windows page file to a fixed size of 16 GB on the fastest NVMe storage drive available. This prevents the operating system from dynamically reallocating memory while the game tries to boot. Power-saving features can aggressively downclock your CPU during transition screens, causing a fatal engine timeout. Navigate to the Windows control panel and activate the Ultimate Performance or High Performance Power Plan. This ensures your processor maintains peak clock speeds during the demanding shader compilation phase. Many PC ports utilize a specific cache folder stored deep within your local application data directory. Press the Windows key and R, type AppData, and delete the PlayStation PC cache folder entirely. Forcing the game to rebuild this directory from scratch can resolve corrupted user preference data. Motherboard communication delays can cause the storage controller to drop critical data packets. At Teknobalta, we always stress the importance of downloading the absolute latest chipset drivers directly from the manufacturer's website. A smooth data pipeline between your processor and NVMe drive is crucial for uninterrupted game launches. Applications that monitor hardware constantly poll the GPU for telemetry data. These software hooks can forcefully crash the game engine just as it attempts to initialize the 3D viewport. Close all monitoring software completely from the system tray before clicking play. Windows hardware-accelerated GPU scheduling is known to cause severe stuttering and startup crashes in specific titles. Open your Windows graphics settings and toggle off this feature completely. Restart your PC to apply this change and test the game launch sequence again. Strict Windows security policies can block the game from writing temporary files to the system drive. We configured the main game, Executable, to strictly run as an administrator under the Compatibility tab. This grants the application total read and write clearance for any dynamically generated files. Corrupted runtime libraries will instantly terminate a process without leaving an error code in the event viewer. Download the latest all-in-one Visual C++ redistributable package from Microsoft and run the repair function. This guarantees that all required background libraries are functioning exactly as the developers intended. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more.